Today we're sitting here with a very, very wonderful person. Before I tell you what his name is, I want to tell you two things about him. One is the degree that he's going for. Two is going to be a summa cum laude degree once he gets done. And it's also a double major, and we're going to let him get into that. The reason why we're sitting with Malik Williams today is to go over what success means to him. Most of us think that success means monetary value, the car you drive, the house you have. Do you actually have the wife with the son and the daughter as the perfect picture? Most people would say that's for America, but that's not the truth. So today we're going to dive into what success is, and a lot of us will find out that we actually have it. So in Malik's story, we're going to go over some things that you might not think he would have been able to make it out of, and how not only did he make it out of it, but he went back to it to only make it out again in a better form and fashion to be hitting the trails blazing. So without further ado, we want to introduce Malik Williams. So Malik, wonderful to be sitting down with you today. In fact, I might say I'm a little embarrassed about it because I actually never told you about, one, how proud I am of you, and then two, how much you actually make me work harder. Yeah, for sure. With every conversation that we have and everything that takes place, there's very few people in life that when you run into them, you have to either be pushing for something, or if you're not, their demand on what they want for their life forces you to think about your own and what you need to accomplish. So the double major that you're going for is social work and behavioral health, and then summa cum laude, the fact that you're going for that. You was actually going for a magna cum laude. Then when you found out it was something higher, you set your heights on that, and then to see that you're actually on track with getting it, I think is pretty phenomenal.
Thank you.
So I definitely want to just dive right into it. Let me just ask you from the beginning, what does success mean to you?
Success to me means achieving the goals that you set for yourself, no matter what they may be.
So how do you think about it deals with when you say if someone thinks that success means something else, and then going off of what you just said, what is a conversation you would have with them to try to point them in the right direction to say this is what actually success is, and that you too can obtain it?
I would really say, like I said, success is really what it means to you, and it can't look the same as what my success would mean to me. So I'm not in a place to tell anyone that that's not what success means to you. But what I would try to maybe instill in somebody is to, look deeper into some of the superficial things that we call successful, the big house, the money, the cars, and into more some of the internal, more valuable success things that's already within us. Happiness, joy, love, things like that.
So, going off what you just said as far as success goes, I'm thinking about how everybody has their own definition of success, and then I'm thinking about your personal situation, how you just received 2 different promotions at your job, which all of us can definitely agree on that is success. But if we're thinking about the 2 promotions that you received at your job, if we go back a few years earlier, a lot of people would probably say you would have never gotten that and would have never been in position to have what someone might call success. So we can go back a few years. If you mind diving into one specific incident, which is the one when you were led down the alleyway and you thought that your life would be taken.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know you remembered that.
Yeah.
I actually was, I was selling drugs, and the guys came in and they figured they were going to rob us because I guess we were doing good. And so the guy comes there and he pulls out the gun, and I tried to, I don't have anything, there's nothing there. And he pulled the hammer back. And when he pulled the hammer back, he asked me something I'll never forget and said, "Do you value your life?" And that minute I said, you know what? Yep, it is something there. Let me give you everything I got, matter of fact, when you say it like that. So after I gave him everything that I had, then he started walking me down the street with the gun in my back and going towards an alley. And in that instant, I'm thinking, well, why is he got everything? Why is he walking me to this alley? Oh my God, he's going to kill me, right? So we get to the alleyway, and I wouldn't walk in the alley. And, I turned around and faced him, and I was like, if he's going to shoot me, he's just going to have to shoot me. I know I felt if I walk in that alley, I'll never make it out. And before he even had, I guess, a chance to decide what he was going to do, someone came up to the top of the block, a friend of mine, and yelled down the block, and the guys ran. And left me standing there at the alley.
So what was your mindset to be thinking when like you feel like you are clearly going down the path which is death in this alleyway, and how you were able to say, because I'm just thinking for me, you know, if you tell this person you're not going to go in the alleyway, what will they do then? But you know what's going to happen when they do take you down the alleyway. So how was your mindset in that moment to make you decide to turn around and say, I'm not doing that?
It was crazy because I've never been in any, and that was the only one time in life that I thought that I was getting ready to die. And I just saw flashes of my loved ones, like just mental images. So really, I was kind of, I don't even remember that walk from where we were at to the alley. I just remember getting to that because during that walk, I'm just seeing, I guess, all the things that are important to me. And I would even tie that in to say that these are the things that I would feel make me successful. Everything I saw an image of, because at the moment of death, that's what really matters to me. It wasn't a car. It wasn't a big house. I'm scared about that.
It's all right.
It's not. It wasn't a big house. It was my loved ones, the people that I cared about. You know what I mean? So to make me not walk in the alley, it was just a thing. I knew I wasn't gonna make it out, and I was like, if I'm not going to make it out the alley, I'm surely not walking in there. And if he's going to kill me, he's just going to have to kill me, and I'm going to turn around and I'm going to face it. It wasn't a thought process. It was more of a reactive. And I just turned around, and I didn't know how that was going to pan out.
So I'm just thinking that maybe it might be a good exercise for some of us to do, and just close your eyes and just think, if, maybe not in a negative fashion, but if everything was supposed to end today, what would be important to you and what should have been done? And that might be a good exercise for us to do to figure out what is important, because I'm pretty sure if somebody's holding a gun in your face, you start to see that everything that was important mattered. You know, the next phone that's coming out didn't matter, the new sneakers didn't matter, and you really start to pick out what's really valuable. So I wanted to talk about you know, that situation that took place in your life, but then I want to jump forward and we talk about the job that you had and how you just received a few different promotions. But before we get into exactly how, can you explain to us exactly just what do you actually do for a living?
I do a lot of things. I'm a director at One Day at a Time for the Drug and Alcohol Program. I'm the care outreach supervisor for that same company. I'm an administrative supervisor for a street team that we do Temple, where we go out and clean the streets. I'm a photographer. I'm an author. I have a book that I'm writing that I seem to never can finish. And I guess that would sum up my career descriptions.
Okay, so with those career descriptions that you had, when we talked about how there was an incident where you was doing some things that wouldn't see like these type of outcomes would have panned out, right? So what do you do on a daily basis to keep you motivated? Because I know that you have a few different things you juggle, but I also know what you used to do. So do you use that type of work ethic or that situation that happened to you to give you the drive? Because most people will think that the one job is enough or two jobs is enough. But in one company, you hold 3 different positions and you have your own business where you do photography. So where do you get your drive for that?
That's a good question. And it could be a multitude of many things where my drive will come from. And ironically, though, it doesn't really tie in too much to that situation with that alley. It's just about what I want out of life. And there's a lot of things that I want. And when I used to think that was mostly money, because all my goals up to, recently have always been financially motivated. But it's not even about the money. It's just about doing a good job and making a difference. And before my dad died, we shared the same name, and I told him that, and he was kind of a gangster type guy, and so I made a promise to him on his deathbed that I would make our name stand for something positive rather than negative. And that drives me a lot of days. I have to pick different things on different days to find, motivation. But part of it is I love what I do. I don't think I would be able to do as much as I do if I didn't love it. And I know that in me helping other people, I'm helping myself grow as well. You know, so it's a multitude of things I pick, because there's some days when I'm physically not there, and all those things I just said might not work. You know what I mean? And I have to figure out another thing to drive for that day to go through it. But I mean, my days are pretty long. I don't get a lot of sleep, and it's a good thing though. I like it. I like being tired, for something to be able to say I'm tired because I worked hard. You know, rather than just for negative reasons. Yeah, you know, because I work very hard, but I know that as I'm getting older, I'm not going to be able to grind like that forever. So I figure now is the time I got to really make my best, strongest moves that's going to help sustain my future when it is time to fall back a little bit.
So going off of what you just now said, it makes me think about, like you saying you don't have a whole lot of time left. It makes me think about the degree path that you're going down, where you're doing a double major, and then you're passing every single subject, every single test, every single class you're taking. Can you explain that process to us? And the reason why we're doing this is because some people, they seem to think that if they are not 18 years old, then it's just too late. If they're not getting what they want at the age of 30, then it's just too late. But can you explain the process on how, one, you're able to not only go to school, as well as having 3 positions and a business, but also go to school for not just 1 but 2 degrees, and then to reach the highest pinnacle that one can reach while getting a degree? How was that for you, and what made you get started with that?
First, let me say that when I decided to go back to school, it wasn't for a degree. The degree was the furthest thing from my mind. I love to learn, and I wanted to take some courses that would help me be a more effective in my work, and and more professional. So the degree plan actually wasn't even until after maybe a couple semesters when I decided that, you know, this would be a good thing. I first started off with behavioral health, because that's the field I work in, psychology, because I love how the mind works and they kind of can go together. And then I changed the psychology major to a social work, and I did that just because I love the fact that social work has a bit of psychology and behavioral health within it. It's kind of combined, and it wouldn't take as long for me to get a clinical license. So now that's where my goal is, to obtain a degree to bring back to the company I work for, but also have my own practice maybe on the side where I can see clients and, you know, do my own thing as well, because I've always been an entrepreneur. This is the first job I've had since 2000. So I've always been my own boss. I'm used to being you know what I mean, oriented. But I took this job, because I said I'd never worked for nobody ever in my life, but I took this job because of the type of job it is. And to me, to go back on my own at that point would have just been my ego. It's just so I can say that I'm the boss. And if my goal is to really help people, then taking a back seat and sitting and working at this organization, I can reach more people. So that's what ended up me getting the job. That's how I ended up going to school. But it's funny how things in life, everything segues with each other. You know, because I wouldn't have been back in college if I didn't take the job, because through the job we went to CCP and we were doing a tour, and I said, you know what, maybe I should go to school. And I punched in to see if I owed any money from when I went to college, and they said, no, you don't. And I said, all right, I'm going back to school. So that's when I know that from a spiritual aspect that I'm on the path that I'm supposed to be on, because everything that is happening in my life is all coming together from all different ways, but it's all still having the same focus of the path that I started, you know, when I came through this organization. So I don't know if that answered your question, but as far as I figured I'm coming back to school, I'm not playing with them. You know, I'm going to give my 100%, my best. And I was just talking with one of your colleagues, and I don't think I even give 100% yet, but that's my goal.
You on track with getting SUMA, and you haven't even given 100% yet? That's
no,
scary.
And because I kind of was explaining to her that that's my fail-safe, and I got to get past. That's something that I'm working on getting past, is that if I only give 90% and I failed, at least I can say I didn't give 100%. But if I gave 100% and I failed, then I'm going to say, well, what is that going to say about my self-worth? So that's something that I'm currently trying to overcome internally. But that doesn't mean that 90% ain't a strong 90.
Yes.
But yeah, so when I found out I want to find out, can I get over a 4.0?
Yeah.
I've heard someone say they got higher than that. I want to see that. But it's not just about the grade, it's just really more about the learning. And the classes I'm taking, I'm able to take that information and infuse it into my job like immediately. And it's training me to be a professional, and it's training me to look at things critically from another perspective. So that's why I just love learning, you know. And the degree is just kind of like a byproduct of it. But the most important thing is learning, because I do believe that, you know, with or without a job, I have enough skills, knowledge, and I've done it to where I can, you know, be an entrepreneur, you know, successful.
Yeah. So you're taking somebody who is given, let's say 90%, is on track of passing and getting the highest of accolades that they can in school. Again, 3 positions in one company, also running their own business. All of these beautiful things that's taking place. Now let's jump back to another spot where people could have counted you out and you kept believing in yourself. There was a time when you owned your own recovery house, and then you lost it. Can you tell us about what happened there?
Yeah, me and a partner started a recovery house, a recovery program. We had about 6 houses. He had relapsed, and then shortly after that, due to the stress, and I'm not even going to say due to the stress, it was more, again, getting back to the self-worth, that gave me a scapegoat to say that's why I lost the business. You know what I mean? Rather than me try to save the business and can't do it, you know what I mean? I was like, well, if I relapse, I'm getting high, can't nobody expect me to. So that was part of the sick thinking. And so we lost the business. And it was about 4.5 years, and it was pretty successful. And so once he relapsed, then I relapsed, and that was a wrap. And as I was starting, that was what my plan was, I said, get myself together, because I changed my name, got my own, that way I didn't have to worry about a partner. I learned a lot of things about taking on a partner as well. So I changed my name, got my own EIN, was ready to start my own program. And that's when I came to One Day at a Time, the organization I work for, and it just changed my whole focus, my whole shift turned completely 360 degrees around.
So the recovery house, this was, because we in Philadelphia now,
Mm-hmm.
but the recovery house, this was in Baltimore?
No, it was here in
Philadelphia? Okay. So with the program that you're working with now, and you're saying that helped change your life around, if I say 2 names to you, I want to know what comes to your mind when I say it.
Mm-hmm.
Daryl Chapman and Mel Wells.
That's my 2 mentors. They are the 2 people that I could say are specifically responsible for where I'm at today, because they opened up the doors, they trained me, and they allowed me to do me. You know, it's not many jobs you can come to, because I'm the type, I don't just come and do whatever title I may have. I'm just going to go and do what I do. And the titles, you know, will come later on, hopefully. So they gave me that open arena to where as though I could grow. It's like no cap on, you know, what I could do. As long as I'm doing something different and bringing something to the table, they're going to match it, and they've even made up a position for me, you know. So they're 2 strong people in my corner and in my life. And I also learned so much of leadership, you know, from them, and how to remain humble and how to deal with people, you know, even when they're not doing something favorable in your eyes, even attacking you at times. So everything, like I said, in my life has just been a growth process. And it's more so now, more than the money aspect growth, it's more of the personal growth, you know, that I'm getting. So it all comes full circle. But yeah, they're 2 people that I'm always have so much respect and love for. And, you know, I love the fact that I can, because where we work is kind of like a family-oriented type of organization. And, you know, it just feels good to have people. I remember one day I didn't come to some event, and my phone was blowing up. I just was asleep. I had a long night and I didn't have to be there, and they're just so used to me showing up that they're blowing my phone up. Are you okay? Is everything good? And so that feels good to know that you got the love and that you would be missed.
It's always easy working in a place like that, especially with the type of work that you do. Everybody does have to work together. So Malik, going off of the company that you work with and the two gentlemen, Mel Wells and Daryl Chapman, as leadership for you. Before, because I want to ask you something about how you get through what you've been through with the pain and how you've been able to use that. I know we spoke about that not too long ago, but I want to ask you something, or more so tell the people about it. One incident in particular, I actually just found out 2 years ago, which I thought was phenomenal, that speak volumes about the company and the people and leadership that you work for. I understand that Daryl Chapman knew that you were a photographer, and to help you get yourself back together, he purchased a very expensive camera for you to help you get started again?
Yep, him and Mel. Daryl Chapman is the one that definitely proposed it and was like, this is something that he wanted to do to help get me back on my feet. And that's the type of things where I say, like, these two guys, man, have been there every step of the way in my life to give me every opportunity. But here's the hit to me is, like, a lot of times people are awarded opportunities, and that doesn't just mean that that's just a smooth yellow brick road. You got to put the work in, you know what I mean, to make that opportunity work for you. And that's also a way of giving back to the people who gave you the opportunity. So when I get blessings like that, it just makes me work even harder, because that also, man, when I first came to that company, when you talk about belief in self, I kind of lost my faith in myself and didn't know could I bounce back. It was a time when I just was like, I didn't believe in myself. And it was through their talk, the way they talked about me, and the things that they knew that I could do, that I kind of rolled off of their belief in me for a little while I was establishing my own self-confidence back. And then I kind of got to a point as I started doing things, it got stronger and stronger. And because the things I've been through in my life, the pain, the traumatic experiences, most people would look at those as disadvantages, but they're actually my advantages. Those are the virtues. Those are the turning points in my life where I can say that I had to, like, when your back is against the wall and there's nothing you can do and you have to figure something, it's those moments when I shine. It's those moments like with the alley when my life is on the line, where out of somewhere comes that determination, that courage, that, whatever the word you need to put in there to turn around and face whatever's coming at you head on. So it's really through all my pain that made me who I am today. I think without that, I don't think I would be as strong or able to tackle life in the way that I'm trying to tackle it. So it's a guy called Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book, and it talked about the advantages and the disadvantages, and how we kind of get them mixed. It's all in your perception and how you look at something. If I look at it badly, then I'm not going to grow from it. But if I look at it as an opportunity, a learning experience, a motivation, then I'm going to get something out of it, and that's going to be the fuel to take me to that next level. I think it was Einstein said that you can't solve a problem at the same level of thinking that created it. So when you ask where's success at, success for me is in my mind. It's all what I think of it. It's not about anything material. Success is more of character trait for me, because if I have success, then all those outer things that I want and I think I want to obtain, I'm going to get them. Not because that's the success, but because I am success. And my success, I'm going to accomplish whatever goal is in front of me, God willing, as long as I put in the work for it.
Yeah.
But that's one of my biggest things that I really am thankful for. And it seems crazy to thank the pain in your life, but that's what shaped and molded me into, the man that I am today. And as my whole values and morals changed, it's because of those tough situations, that I've made it through. It's like the experience, life experience is what really shapes us and molds us. All the things that I say I want to do is one thing. Like, I can read a book about swimming. I can talk about how I'm going to swim. I'm going to do the backstroke, the disc stroke, the butterfly, but it don't mean nothing till I get in the water. You know what I mean? I have to be in that water in order to swim. So everything else is preparation, motivation, but it's actually in the doing it, in that moment where I'm going to see what I'm really made of. You know, so I try to live in the moment, stay in the moment. I make plans. I know you said something about the future. I have goals, but I don't really know where the future has for me because I already know it's going to be something that was unexpected pop up, and I'm going to take that turn too. You know, so right now I have a path I want to go on. I would like to shout out real quick my fiance, and that's been a big part of my life as well. You know, to get to a point where as a man I say I'm ready to settle down, get married. These is like the switch in morals, principles, and values. And it's like, that's success to me. You know, being able to say that I'm getting married is a success. To be able to say that I'm raising my son, you know, as a single father is a success to me. You know, and it's hard. I got to give a shout out to the women, like single moms. It's definitely a struggle. You know, it's one thing to be in the household as the man and you know, as the family, but to do it just, you know, you and your child, it's hard. You have to have time. You have to, and then he's an adolescent, so that you at the most critical time in life. So it's a hard job, and it's a 24-hour job. So I do want to shout out to all the single parents, whether man or female. But I love it because without all the things I've been through, I wouldn't be able to do it. You know, and then without the last thing I'll say is I realized that there's nothing I have achieved in my life that I did by myself. Everything, anything I've ever accomplished, achieved, has been because of the help of somebody else, whether it be through motivation, whether it be through prayer, whether, you know, whichever type way, because at one point in my life I was real arrogant and I thought that I did that. You know, and now I see the inner workings of everything, and nothing happens by itself. Someone opened up a door for me, someone helped, gave me some advice, some information, something. There's nothing that I have done that I've made it by myself. You know, all I try to do is put in my work, you know, and I do work real hard, and when you work hard, you get the results of it. But in closing, I like to say that
Yeah.
even though no matter how hard we work, you know, there's still, like I'm learning a lot right now about systemic oppression and, you know, destruction and policies of, you know, where of the government, the inequalities to where as though even if an individual is working hard, they tell you you can be what you want to be, and as long as you work hard for it. But there's a system designed that doesn't make it always happen equally for everyone like that. So I'm learning now to take kind of like a sociological imagination and look at some of the struggles that's going on in the world, poverty and education and the inequality. So it is a thing where I say I want to work hard, but there's also a system set up against us that I'm recognizing as well. And I asked my sociology professor, well, what does the sociologist do about it? And he was like, well, we just look at it and, you know, we give the information to somebody else. And I was like, nah, that ain't me. You know, I'm the one, like, once I find something out, let's attack it. Let's go at it. What are we going to do to change it? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to just find out all the information and pass it on to someone else. I want to be part of the revolution that steps up against the system and makes some different changes. And, you know, I know it's a process. It's hard. I don't know how to do it yet, but that's one of the things that I'm in school. I feel as though that I have a passion to do, you know, to help make change that's going to benefit other people.
That's awesome, Malik. One thing that makes me think about what you just said is living full and dying empty. And one thing for sure that I know is the day that you leave out of here, all your dreams and goals will not be on your side. They'll be left here for the world to be able to have for everything that you're leaving behind for us. So I appreciate that, brother. Appreciate your time. I know that you're going to keep doing great things in life. And again, thank you. And I look forward to you graduating and getting that degree at the highest level. And thank you for being here, brother.
Thank you very much.